Wow. Hey, how's it going? It's Dave. Welcome to another episode of Out of Spec Dave. I'm down here with my 2023 Model 3. This is the rear-wheel drive version. I've had it about 4 months, have just about 5,000 miles on it. And as I'm driving around today, I got to thinking about all these different price changes with Tesla. Now, recently I made a video about what's happening with Tesla and how they're changing their prices and all that. But today I've got some very interesting updates for you. So stick with me. I'm gonna go down by the water and check out some of the boats that are down here. Come with me. Let's film this down by a beautiful scene. I'm here in Rowayton, Connecticut, which is actually part of Norwalk, not Darien. So let's get into it. So today I gave Tesla a call because we put in an order in late April for a Model Y, the base all-wheel drive version, and we still don't have a VIN number yet. The way Tesla works is when you put your order in, you get a reservation number, an RN number, and usually you'll get a quick VIN number, but we just haven't gotten a VIN number. And so recently I had a tow hitch on the car, and then I decided, let me take the tow hitch off. Thought maybe that would actually trigger us getting a VIN number, and nothing happened except the fact that it told us that we were going to have an April to May delivery, and then we ended up having a June to July delivery. I was like, oh man. So what I did then was I took the tow hitch off, thought that would change it, and then we put it back on. But the reality is, I've heard some rumors that the Fremont, where they're making the batteries, the 4680 cells, which is, if everyone remembers Battery Day from a couple of years ago, these are the cells that are 46 millimeters across and 80 millimeters in length. And Tesla is manufacturing these batteries themselves, and they're putting them into a structural component. And the whole way with which they're manufacturing this new Model Y is completely changed. In a lot of ways, it's one of the most revolutionary advances in car design in many, many years, the way that Tesla is modularly designing this new Model Y. And for a lot of reasons, I really want to get this 4680. Number one, it's cheaper, less expensive, which is good. It's under 50,000. So Kathy will be able to get the $2,250 cheaper rebate from the state. But more importantly, this new battery pack is supposed to last a lot longer than the traditional Panasonic 2170 cells. And the other thing, I've heard a couple of rumors that this new 4680 battery pack, it's going to, you're going to be able to charge it at higher states of charge. So perhaps you would be able to charge it to 90% every day instead of 80% every day, or maybe even rumors 95% every day. Not like the LFP, which is the CATL lithium iron or lithium phosphate battery pack, because those, Tesla says right out of the gate, they say you can, and we recommend that you charge the LFP batteries once a week to 100%, just so the BMS gets topped off at the top. But these 4680 cells, I'm excited because I think that you'll be able to charge that car easily to 90% every day. Now, it's got an EPA rated range of 279 miles versus the long range, which is the older architecture. It's got the 2170 cells with a 330 mile of range. But 330 miles of range, if you're going to charge it at 80%, is roughly 265, 270 miles, somewhere in there. And when you think about, if you have this other battery pack, which is the new 4680 cell with 279 miles of range, and if you charge that every day to 95%, then you're going to have pretty much the same, let's say, usability on a daily basis out the gate of around 265 miles. So I don't really think there's that much of a difference, if you will, on a daily driving ability, just plugging in at home. So I'm real excited to get this. But when I called Tesla today, I spoke with a great guy, and it's tough to get guys who really know what they're doing. And I asked the question, why am I not getting a VIN number on this car? And what he said is white seats. So rumor has it there are no white seats coming out of Austin for the Model Y 4680 packs. And that's a problem. And I'm hearing that it's probably not going to be until mid-July before we could potentially get a VIN number. When we put in the order for the Model Y, we wanted to get a price as to how much they would give us for the GV60. Now it's a 2023. Originally I had 8,000 miles on, we had 8,000 miles, and they came back with 57,500. And we would save tax on the new car of about $4,000. So it was really the equivalent of getting around $61,500. When you think about it, we spent $70,000 for the car plus tax, less the $7,500 federal tax credit, because we bought that car earlier last year. So we were able to get a cost basis down probably to around, you know, in the high, let's call it 68,000, somewhere around there. So if you're getting 61,000 and you're driving the car for a year and you're putting roughly 10,000 miles on it, that's not bad. It's not like the old days when I made 11,000 on my Ioniq 5 after the tax credit and the fact the prices were going up. But, you know, look, we're willing to take that loss and really to get into the Model Y. I think we're fine with that. But what happened was that estimate that Tesla gives you on a trade-in is only good for 30 days. And so what happened was we put in on just last week, I said, okay, do you want to, your estimate for 57.5 has run out, so we've got to actually up it to a different number now. So you had to put in the new mileage. And we drove just over 1,000 miles in the last month. And because of that, they went back out to the market to look at how much they would give us for the GV60. And they came back 54,300. So they dropped $3,200 in 1 month on the amount that they're going to give us. And the reason why was because we put over 1,000 miles. So I'm getting a little bit anxious because that value is only good until July 1st. A little bit buggy out here. So, and by the way, thank you, Kathy, for filming here. I know the bugs are getting you too, but so I'm getting a little antsy about getting this Model Y, not because we have to get the Model Y now, but I want the trade-in value to stay where it is. Anything less than that amount, 54.3, then I'm going to end up having to sell it on my own, which I really don't want to do. I can do that, and I could probably get, you know, high 50s, maybe 60 for it or something like that, but I'd much rather just trade it into Tesla. So word is that we're not going to get the car until mid-July from this Tesla rep that I spoke to today. And while there are inventory cars, because I know everyone is probably saying, well, Dave, just get an inventory car. The issue is that there are no inventory cars with 4680 that are white. So can't get them. And white seats is just, you know, it's white, that's what Kathy wants and nothing else. So I said, well, what if I were to up to the long range and forget about the 4680 and just get the 2170? And it turns out that the price, they've had 2 price increases of $250 over the last couple of, well, month or so. And so the price, the base price of the long range is now $50,490, which is just over $50,000, which means that we won't get the $2,250 state rebate. So now you're talking about a $5,000 difference in price between the 4680 all-wheel drive and the long range. And to us, that's just not worth it, especially knowing that we can charge this new 4680 pack consistently to at least 90%. Now again, that's my speculation, that's what we will do, but everything we're hearing and everything that I'm hearing, please comment below if you're hearing something different. Go 90%, 95% on this new 4680 pack, no problem. You do that on the 2170, you're going to kill the life of the battery, so it's going to be more like an 80%. So we've decided to leave the 4680 car on order, and we're going to keep that one. We're just going to be patient and wait for that. If something happens where the GV60 drastically reduces in terms of how much they're going to give us, I'll just sell it privately. It's no big deal. So our next move is June, I don't know, 20th or so, 15th or 20th. I'm going to be road tripping the Model 3 down to Florida. The Model 3 is going to stay in Florida for the entire summer, and I'm going to be driving the GV60 locally here in Connecticut back and forth to work once I fly back. Kathy's going to be staying down in Florida, and we're going to keep the miles low on that GV60. I'm going to make sure that we don't drive that car more than 1,000 miles over this month, so that we have a good chance to hopefully keep the value as high, as close to 54.3 as possible. So we'll stay tuned on that, but we're not changing our order. We're not going for any other color combination, and we're not going to go for the long range. So that's number one. That's the first thing I wanted to update on. The other thing is, which is kind of big news, is on the Model 3, the new LFP, our rear-wheel drive incentive, federal tax incentive, it's now back up to $7,500. And so some of you may remember that on April 18th of 2023, this year, if you bought a Model 3 rear-wheel drive between January 1st and April 18th, 2023, you got a full $7,500 federal tax credit. But on April 18th, basically the federal government said, you're not going to get that. And the reason is because the pack itself, the LFP pack, is made by CATL, a Chinese company. And so only half the car is built in the United States, and the other half, that being the battery, is not. So they were only giving $3,750 back. But just yesterday, Tesla, all of a sudden on their website, said that the LFP battery pack in the rear-wheel drive Model 3 now qualifies back again for the full $7,500 federal tax credit. So let's think about that. If you live in New Jersey, I always like to use New Jersey as an example. You don't have to pay any state sales tax on an EV. The other thing is that they've dropped the prices on the base Model 3 LFP rear-wheel drive to just under $40,000. And so take $40,000 less $7,500. Now you're at $32,500 less $2,250. I'm sorry, in the state of New Jersey, I believe you may get $4,000 back from the state. So now $32,500 less $4,000, now you're under 30 grand. You're like 28.5 and no sales tax. You can buy a Model 3 rear-wheel drive LFP battery pack car for under 30 grand. So remember the days when everybody was saying, oh, you're going to be able to buy a $35,000 Tesla? Oh, that'll never happen. I think it happened off-grid for maybe 3 weeks. You could order that car. Today, right, with all the inflation everybody's talking about, you can now buy a Model 3 long range or a rear-wheel drive, and it's only, after all the tax incentives, you're talking right around 30 grand. Less, in the state of Connecticut, it's going to be, you have to pay sales tax on the car, but you do get the $2,250 rebate. I thought for sure Tesla was going to jack up the price on the Model 3 over the last day or two, and they haven't done it yet, and I don't think they will, and let me tell you why. They're coming out with a redesign. A lot of people have been talking about the redesigned car, and supposedly they're going to start manufacturing this new sort of a light refresh. It's going to have new headlights, it's going to have new front bumper, it's going to have new rear bumper, it's going to have hardware 4, which we're excited about. I'm talking about the Model 3 now. And the new refresh car is, I'm hoping that car will also come in the gunmetal silver color and also in the cherry red color. And I don't know, I'm just starting to think about maybe a Model 3 Performance in that new refreshed. We'll have to see if that thing really comes through, but that's coming soon. And whenever a car manufacturer has a new model coming out or a new refresh model, they got to take all the older inventory and get rid of it. So right now is an extremely good time, in my opinion, to buy a Model 3 rear-wheel drive, and you can charge that LFP. Great car, super efficient. We just took it to Saratoga Springs last weekend. For those of you who haven't seen that video, it's a fun video. It's a long one, but it's a good one. And we had a super good time. But the efficiency on that on that trip, I think we got something around 217 watt hours per mile for the whole trip. Crazy efficiency, great car, super comfortable, an amazing daily driver. And right now, there are a lot of inventory cars, especially if you want black interior, for a super cheap price. So anyway, these are my thoughts. We're going to stay with the Model 3, the 4680 car, our Model Y, I'm sorry. We're just going to be patient. I'm going to hope that the value on the GV60 stays at that 54,300 number. And yeah, we're just going to wait for the white seats to be starting to be manufactured on the Model Y down in Austin. And then we're going to have to see what happens with this new refresh car, this Model 3. Because I may be putting an order in for one of those. We'll have to see. And I may not just get the cheap one. I may go for the fancy race car version, the Performance, especially if they come out with that car in silver. If they come out with that car in midnight, or the gunmetal silver, or the lighter silver, or maybe even the cherry red with the white interior, that could get real exciting for me. So anyway, I hope everyone finds value in these kinds of videos. Just wanted to give you my thoughts in terms of what's going on with Tesla and the pricing updates. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Please comment below. And thanks again for watching another episode of Out of Spec Dave, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.